Do we have to go?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right.
Recording.
Oh, so we have to
All right,
vote?
minutes are
Yeah.
approved.
No,
Yeah.
don't we have to vote that we?
You're
Oh,
approved.
yeah.
Aye.
Approved, yeah.
And Linda, you're abstaining, yes?
My uncle has a barn. I think we could put on a show.
I know, right? All right, they're approved. Library director's report. Vicky.
Sure. So Diana Rupp is finishing up this week. That'll be her last week. I just start with the staff here. This is what I'm starting with. I hired Suzanne Cardinal. She lives up the street. She's also works at the Nassau Library. So although she doesn't have a whole lot of time, she does know a lot of the systems and stuff, and she'll be really helpful with forms and computers, and I'm hoping some anyways. Nancy Dilly is a referral from Randy. She had met her when they were giving blood, I think. So Nancy has been here now 2 weeks. We're still, training. So this is really good. This stuff is just wonderful. Both of these people are going to be, really, really helpful. And Diana met with Nancy today on Zoom and gave her some more information about it. And we're doing a few more things with Google Docs, and hopefully everything is going to go well.
Good.
I'm very thrilled. Museum of Science and Technology had a great program last week. It was How to Survive on the Moon, and the kids just loved it, and it was really good. At the end, they all it was like an escape room thing that they had to do. At the end, they were, I think, standing on a pad, and they all had to do their hands, and they had an electric charge that went through their bodies, which, to light up something. It was very cool. And they'll be back on the 29th for Silly Putty, how to make the highest ball. We have another program, Thrive for Strength and Balance, and that was something that Dottie had referred, and it was Derek Galato. He's going to do a program for us at his workshop in Valatia. Nancy Restivo asked me to ask if we have a treasurer or a bookkeeper, so I throw that out there.
Vicki, you should be asking Rick that question.
I should? All right.
Yes.
Okay. I sort of thought okay. Columbia County Library Association, which we're a member of, we got back from the Board of Supervisors to that organization where we spend money, like the museum passes and stuff, 20% that they withheld in 2020 when the pandemic started. So we got that money. That was $14,430 go back into that organization. And I was going to tell you about some of the programs.
Wait, Vicki, did you say $14,000 we got back?
We get to the Columbia County Libraries Association. So the supervisors give to the Library Association, all the libraries in Columbia County, money every year. From that, we get $3,000 in cash.
Okay.
In addition to that, they pay for some of our Sierra fees. There's another, I can send you the budget at any time, but they also pay for some of our hosting fees and things that we would have had to pay Mid-Hudson for. Then on top of that, we do things that none of us could have done alone, like the Museum Pass program, the Ellsworth Kelly grant.
Okay, no, I just got confused when I heard the $14,000 number.
Yeah.
That was,
So it was the Mid-Hudson Library System that got the 14,000, not us.
Columbia County Libraries Association, CCLA, got that money from the supervisors for the county to spend jointly. Summer programs. I sent this to you, Randy. Okay. We're
I
working on.
have that. It just wasn't clear on the Library Association.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Summer programs theme is Oceans of Possibilities. And we've got a mad scientist, black and blue, coming, that Animal Embassy, fish hand puppets, Captain Hurricane, magic and teaching. We're going to do another bike path, try to do another bike path ride, run, walk with Valatia, coordinating with them. Canoeing in Stockport Creek with the DEC. There'll also be the memoir group readings and Reggie Harris, in cooperation with the Arts and Culture. Eco Cooking with Linda Romeo. And I'm hoping and a couple other programs I'm hoping. As far as Live and Learn goes, we've got a CCL walk in Ghent, that's next week. We're working on the heat pumps house visits, May 24th. I might have that date wrong, I didn't write down. And native plants. So I want to say thanks, Kim, thanks, Judy, for being part of that. The heat pump house visits, that's going to be really good. We're just getting that publicity together. And then I also attached in there the library final budget that was passed by the assembly or by both houses and the governor, and it looks pretty good. So I won't read you those numbers. You'll see them.
Hey, Vicki, could I ask you, is Diana done now with us, or is she still doing her remote work?
She's almost done. She met today via Zoom with Nancy Dilly, and
she'll be handing it off.
She'll be handing it off. I think she's going to do one MailChimp this week, and she might do a Zoom with Nancy. She's a wonderful creative.
Yeah, no, I like her.
Yeah, me too, a lot. And she did a good conversation. It was well worth having them together on Zoom. But by the end of next week, it's all done.
She'll be done. Okay.
Let me ask a different question.
Sure.
If she's no longer working for the library, but she has her own business, is she someone we can use to do the creative stuff for whatever advertising we're going to have to do for the 414? I don't know exactly what she does, so I don't know what that's.
She's a seamstress and a sewer sort of person. She's probably not a graphic person.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, it's probably not exactly what you need.
Okay.
But good idea. And she's lovely. So that's on top of it all. She's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Long range plan. Is anyone here representing the long range plan out of the 7 people?
Kathleen Turley has sometimes spoken up, but she wasn't able to make it tonight.
Okay.
Oh,
Right, Judy, you're on mute.
can I say one
Here we
more
go.
thing? I'm sorry.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard, but that the open meetings law has been changed a little bit again. And the governor put it in as an extreme kind of, you don't have to have an emergency, but there's going to be times where you can use it. Nobody knows what that means. Also, I think she extended it for the next 4 months.
What does that mean? That we can continue to meet on Zoom?
Yeah,
Okay.
at least for the 4 months. I'll forward to everybody, okay?
Thank you.
On the strategic plan committee morphed into the 414 committee. And because it's all the same people. And Betsy joined us, but basically it was the strategic plan, and Liz joined us for that. And we realized that we needed to focus our attention on the 414 and get the money in the front door. And initially, we had hoped we could participate in the program that Mid-Hudson runs called Turning Out, which was designed to help us learn more about what the community wanted and, build that rapport. That was just too much. We just realized we couldn't do all that. So we're going to focus on the 414. We're going to get the money in the front door. And we will, even had we been doing the Turning Out, we would have postponed actually doing the strategic plan to 2023. So the short answer is it's on the calendar, but it's on the calendar for 2023.
Got it. Do you want to segue into a 414 update for us?
What a segue. I'm actually then going to segue over. First of all, I have to say kudos to the whole team. I mean, this has really been a group effort. And Kim, who isn't officially on the committee, has nonetheless helped us, really update the brochure. We've got a gorgeous brochure now that we're leaving with everyone, and we can use it, for a lot of purposes going forward. And everybody's just been tremendous. Liz and Dottie have been leading the charge in terms of getting the volunteers out, dividing up the turfs, training them, getting the petitions back. I'm going to turn it to Liz because she's got the most up-to-date count on how many signatures we have. I will say the first day was extraordinary, 99 signatures. We need 300. We got 99 signatures on the first day. Needless to say, the first 99 are definitely easier than the last 25. It's just the way the world works. But it was a heck of a good start. And really, kudos to everybody and thanks to everyone. Liz, where are we now?
Well, I think we're up to 182. I have.
Wait, say that again slowly.
182, I believe. I have about 120 in my possession. And then I have emails from people, because we're not getting them back at the end of the day now, because there's really no reason to do that if people are willing to keep going out and get signatures. We found a lot of people were not home on Saturdays and Sundays. So at least for me, more than half of the houses I went to, no one answered the door. But they're in my neighborhood. So if I see a car now, I stop and I get it then. So several people still have their lists and are still working on it. But I got some emails from them saying how many they had. And so it looks like we're up over 180 anyway. Now, a few of them weren't exactly correct. Kim had a question about one where somebody put in a slash and it made it look like the date was 12 instead of 2. I don't know whether that's worth even touching. I don't know whether that would be considered invalidating it or not. So I've got to look into that. And a couple of people signed where they were supposed to print and printed where they were supposed to sign. And I don't know if that invalidates them. So I have to look, but there aren't a lot like that, but there's a handful. So I have to look into that and see if somebody has the answer to those questions. But we're moving along, and a few people are still working on it. Kim's going out again this weekend. And I continue, I have a list that I continue to work on. So when Dottie gets back, I'll meet with her and we'll come up with some new areas to canvas and try to get some more volunteers.
The good news is when we set the 300, the number we needed, Liz, remind me, is what,
I think
234?
it's 234, yeah.
So that's what we needed as a, the 10% of the votes for the last gubernatorial election. So we set 300 as a target on the assumption there were going to be some that were going to be invalidated. And, and the other thing we said was the more people we can talk to now and let them know what's coming, that's part of the get out the vote process. But so I would think if we hit our 300, I think we should still aim for the 300 because there will be some that won't be valid. We know that. We should be in good shape. And the last I'd heard from Liz, it was 120. So when you said 182, I nearly fell off my chair.
Yeah. Well, I went through my emails this afternoon and I had some emails. So, I mean, they're not in my possession yet. There's 120 in my possession, but I'm pretty sure Randy has some, Kim has some, Bonnie and Betsy have some. So we'll see. It's moving
Fabulous. Along. Really, really fabulous.
I know I'm not allowed because I'm in Rensselaer County, but if anybody needs a chauffeur, I'm more than willing. Just out of curiosity, has there been a lot of negative feedback, or has it pretty much been?
Kim got one. Did you get one, Betsy?
Oh,
did you get any negatives?
Oh, ask Bonnie. Yeah, we kind of got beat up on Saturday, but we made him sign anyway.
Oh, okay.
Just sign. You want me to go away? Sign. I'm staying here till you sign the thing. Not real negative. A couple that were just like, go away. We don't sign things for strangers. Okay, fine. But the the comments were extremely interesting and the questions were even more interesting. But I think this is, in talking about the turning out program, this is probably, we're getting that accomplished at the same time almost. Because we're hearing, I had two older gentlemen, totally separate from each other, that both asked if there were computer classes for seniors. They're both looking for those so they can live their lives. And yeah, I got that back. I got that information back to you guys. But I thought, you know, out of 20 houses, 2 people asked for that. I thought that was a pretty good random sample, you know, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, why do we have to support 2 libraries? And someone asked me if the town supervisor was on board with this. So there's a lot of questions. You kind of gotta, you know, and I didn't want to say it's none of his business, but because I didn't know who this person was. So I just said, you know, that's not, we're trying to get this out to a vote to all the taxpayers. It really has nothing to do with the town board.
Right, right.
When we talked to the supervisor 2 years ago, they didn't say anything negative. I mean, I don't know that they said they were on board, but they were fine with what we're saying. They seem to support us. But like you said, we don't have to have them to do this.
Right,
Right. And I think, you know, as I mentioned, I think in the note that I sent back, Betsy, to everyone who's on the committee, we will be presenting to the workshop, the town board workshop meeting on May 5th. Rick is going to get us on the agenda. And that's a good opportunity. You know, I think we do need to let everybody know, because the thing is, even if the only thing we don't want them to be is negative. So it's really important for this. If they're neutral, they're neutral. If they're positive, God bless them. The assessment, the reassessment role is going to be public as of May 1st, which is a Sunday. So I don't know how they do that. So I've got on my calendar to talk to Suzette Boyd, 9 a.m. on Monday morning, so that we will actually have real numbers with a new assessment, you know, with the new reassessment values.
Yeah.
We will know what this will mean for people. And I have had conversations with the chair of both the Valatia Library and the Kinderhook Library. And both of them, you know, said, you know, people like libraries, you know, they vote for it. Now, admittedly, Kinderhook's had an advantage because they go every 2 years. So people are now kind of accustomed to it, and they can go for smaller amounts and say it's going to buy us 5 new computers. But even still, they both thought that basically people like libraries. And I will not become complacent about this, because I think we do have a harder lift given the reassessment this year. And it does mean, it may mean if there are people who sign under duress, we want their signatures for the petition. We may not be, you know, we're going to reach out to everybody who signed our petition to get out the vote. If there's somebody there on your list who you think probably, you know, isn't going to be friendly, we might drop them off our get out the vote list, just saying, you know.
Got it.
So we should keep track of that on a separate piece of paper. But, you know, I think frankly, everything I've heard, we're ahead of the game in terms of our timetable. And, you know, because everything they told me, I said, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that. So I think from a process perspective, I'm feeling really good. And I certainly think, you know, the numbers are really spectacular. So I think we're on the right track, and we'll reconvene in June. You know, at the rate we're going, we'll be done with the petition drive in May. We'll reconvene in June, as I think, as a committee, and then with the board, to talk about the get out the vote strategy and, you know, what we're going to need to do. The one thing we are going to need to do is put together a pot of money for Friends of the Library, because if we want to put up an ad at the Crandall in September and October, if we want to have signs, Kathleen was you know, we've already, we were able to get the brochures printed out of the library budget, because the brochures are going to be used for the library. and they don't say anything about the vote in them. So we didn't have to hit, we've got a kitty of $400. We're going to need more. I don't know how much more. And when Kathleen comes back, we'll have numbers for you. But it would be helpful. I don't know if we have any fundraiser or other events coming up between now and early June. But if we can take advantage of anything we do have coming up to get people to make a contribution to the Friends of the Library pot as opposed to the library per se, we should talk about that.
Let's talk about that, Judy, because there might be
Okay.
something we can do.
Okay, great. Okay,
All right, thank you. Finance Committee. Randy, do we have anything distributed or nothing at all?
We don't, Rick sent me something and I wasn't able to open it. It was an HTML file and it didn't actually work. So he did send me a budget, but I wrote him back and said I wasn't able to.
So we'll put a pin in that for right now. Okay, fundraising. So speaking, Judy, yes to that, we do have a fundraiser in June. The next event is June 18th, and that is the pig roast dinner.
Oh, it's the 18th.
Does that work for the dates you're thinking of? Because we will have bodies at the library, so we could easily set something up and have people, you know, make a donation when they come to get their dinner.
absolutely. No, that would be fine because we're not going to be spending money until August.
Okay, so that's set for June 18th. Rick is right now securing our donors, but again, Lover's Leap is doing the pig. We're right now working on the sides. I'm kind of helping him out a little bit with some of the structure of it this year. And we are not going to take any day of tickets this year. It's all going to be advanced sales. That's kind of the big new news from last year. It got kind of dicey at the end, literally scraping the bottom of the pig to fill those last people. So it's all going to be pre-ordered this year. And we don't foresee any issue with filling every order in advance. And it just makes it a much tidier bottom line at the end of the day. So that's the big thing coming up in June is the pig roast on the 18th. And then Randy's got the garden tour further into July, which we don't need to. Do we need to talk about that now, Randy, or you want to talk about that in May? You're on mute.
Everything else was opening up except for the one thing I wanted. It's just that it's July 23rd, so.
More to come.
Yeah, I'll try to get a flyer to Kim for posting, something that would be posted, but we can dust off what we developed last year. So
Great.
we can put that on the calendar.
There had been some talk at, maybe it was the last meeting, about possibly doing something as a community event at the library in May. Is that off the docket at this
It's
point?
potentially in August, and that is Kim's world now.
I've done nothing.
Sorry, that was a
Done
Bruce
nothing.
Tower response.
Once it got pushed off to, now we're talking about early August for it.
It's a
Maybe we
summer
were
cocktail.
worried about the weather. It's just a little early for an outdoor event.
Yeah, it was,
Um,
Rick had wanted to do something in April, and then he was talking May, and it was just coming up too fast to even organize, and then the weather got a little sketchy as well. We thought, let's push it a bit later and do it after the garden tour. It kind of bunches our fundraisers up more than I think we wanted to, but hey, that's the way it goes. We're still kind of feeling our way through these. I think we've landed August being logical, yeah?
And they're very different. I mean, a
Right.
pig roast, a garden tour, and a cocktail party are three radically different events,
Yes.
possibly appealing to the same people, but very appealing events.
Can
So
I,
that's where we are fundraising.
can I ask for, if it's just a picture and a little write-up, we'll get them on the webpage. I don't need a poster. You can't put a poster on the webpage anyways. So it's just a short write-up and some sort of picture to go with it.
I think we have for the pig roast the write-up from last year, because we're using basically the same poster, right, Kim? The same general template?
We are, this is news to me about the no day of purchases, because I didn't get a response about that.
Okay.
So, been stuck.
Okay, we'll take that offline. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yes, Vicky, we'll get you something. I believe we have a little write-up that we can get you.
I probably have
Later.
stuff from last year, but I don't know what to, maybe I can just, now that I have a date and everything, maybe I can find something, Kim, between the things. Maybe.
Well, I didn't know, I'm not clear on decisions for this year, so.
Yeah, there's still some bits and pieces of it up in the air. So give us a few days to work through that and we'll get you something.
And the same with the garden tour. I mean, just put it onto the website anyways.
Yeah, no, I'll get you language.
And a
Don't worry
picture.
about that.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you.
So just to say that when I was out collecting signatures, people were very excited about some of our events, especially some of my new neighbors. So it's a good way to get new people coming to our garden tours and our cocktail parties and things like that.
Nice.
Marketing committee. Any takers? I think it's the wrong crowd, right? All right. Buildings and grounds, also not our crowd. We're flying through this. I love it. Arts and culture.
Dale, we're gonna have to have you lead our meetings more often. This
Well,
is
I had said
fabulous.
to Randy, I said, with 2 children now, I would like this done by 8 o'clock for bedtime. So my internal goal is to wrap this thing up. So
You're doing a
can-
great job.
I can talk about the arts and culture. So
Great.
Mark told me he couldn't make it tonight. And Rick probably would have reported on the marketing committee, but Julie did tell me what was going on. They received the full grant from Columbia, from Greene County Council on the Arts to the tune of $1,150. So our bookkeeper should be on the lookout for this deposit and allocate it to the subcommittee. Additionally, Julie did apply for a separate grant, which was an unusual opportunity to get back to in-person events, and they received $1,000 from Create. So the subcommittee has a total of $2,150. Last Sunday's event at Malden Bridge, which was Judy Staber's book, had 29 attendees, and it was just lovely and successful. Next is At Wits End on May 8th, Mother's Day with Nancy Rothman playing Irma Bombeck, and it should be very fun. If there's good weather, it will be outdoors. Otherwise, it'll be in the church on the first floor. And then on June 12th, Rising Tides with neighbor Karen Halverson indoors at the library. That's all to report.
all right. Live and learn. Vicky? Do you have anything on that?
I think I sort of reported that 3 upcoming is the walk in Ghent next week. And we're doing heat pump house visits as a follow-up to what we had done a couple. And so in that case, we have 5 different houses. We're going to allow people to choose where they'd like to go for 4 of those places. And then we'll make up a schedule following the idea of the garden club, the garden tours that Randy had organized, and we'll just fix those out. And then we're doing native plants on the 15th, on the next one. That's the 15th of June. And in July, we're doing the memoir group readings as part of the summer program. And then Linda Romeo in August. So we're planning out. That's it.
All right. Randy, do we have anything for XCOM? Not specifically, do we? No, we haven't met. Okay. Nominating governance? No. Any new business from anyone?
I think we're setting a record.
I love this. Dottie
And
Snotty.
We even got a late start.
I know, right? Anything else?
Our next board meeting is May 11th.
And that will still be continuing on Zoom, I assume. Okay.
We'll talk to Rick about that. I think it seems to be something that a lot of people still want to do.
Okay. To be
I am
confirmed.
going to beg, I will not be at that meeting. As I am moving out of selling my apartment and moving out of that apartment that day. And since it's my birthday, my friends are going to take me out so I can drink to the old apartment and to another year gone by. So Liz, you're going to be, I leave it to you to report on the 414. And I'll raise a glass to the library while I'm drinking my life.
Drink to the new apartment too, come on.
Drink to the new apartment, right?
Can we put on new business for the next meeting to a toast to Judy in her absence?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anything else?
Mm,
No? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See everybody. Bye.
bye.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.